Peace and blessings be upon you all, guys. Thank you for coming back to another podcast with us, the Baraka Boys, the greatest podcast out there on the net. You guys were meant to say, yeah, it is.
Number one on iTunes.
Where is this to be number one on iTunes?
Number one on
Where is the... Where's the self-belief, guys? Today we're talking about pivotal...
Even offbeat. Wow.
Pivotal moments in our lives. Maybe we kind of wanted this episode to be, maybe you guys getting to know us a little bit more, because at the moment we're just all this kind of like, oh, this guy's a professor here, this guy's a student, this guy's a yogi, this guy's a this and that, this guy's an artist.
Man said a yogi.
I don't know. Well,
I'm proud.
There you go. Let's get to know us a little bit more and some of the moments that have kind of shaped our lives, and maybe you guys can relate with some of the moments that have shaped your lives and how we've kind of navigated our way through life, and we're still navigating through our lives.
Just to be a bit like, I want to butt in a little bit just here. Can we talk about, let's keep it real, maybe not so much, obviously let's leave us like still as friends at the table, yeah? But like first impressions of each other. Ooh. And like how we got to know each other.
I can't stand Mustafa and I can't stand you either.
And how we, that's fine. And how we, and
Poncho, fam.
And our mindset,
And it worked, though.
And our mindset at the time that we met each other.
Okay.
Compared to how it is.
How it is now.
I'm gonna come out with a hot tea straight away, right? I did not like you, and for the reason that I just came out of a bad relationship with the Muslim community, so I didn't like Muslims in general. And then you were just like, if what I felt like, because I think you maybe sending me a few messages. No,
A few?
I don't know.
Active on Facebook.
I think there were a few. I think there might have been a few.
Don't try to call me out.
I'm not, because when someone gets finished their point, it can look one way.
He might have added you in a few statuses. He added you in some statuses that he made, because I remember clearly.
You remember his whole DMs?
I remember. I wasn't in the DMs in it, but
I can't fully remember. I remember that you were.
I sent you a screenshot of when I defended you in Gamco Sharif.
Exhibiting energy towards me, which suggested that you wanted to be friends. I was not ready to receive that, because I was like, you're just another Muslim. Go away from me. I don't want to deal with him. And I don't know how we actually met. I think it might have been through a friend of mine. But eventually I found out after you.
You met through, because I met him first.
Oh yeah.
He used to message me on Facebook way before.
Yeah, Umar used to kind of talk to you, and then I thought, well, if Umar saw you, first I was like, why FaceTiming that guy for, like, and then
no, it wasn't even a FaceTime. He used to message me because he said like he used to think I was cool and I was Muslim. No.
No.
Pull
up DMs. That's bull. No, I'm not having that. Don't make it to be beg, bro. I'm not having that.
Should we scrap this? Did I
I've never been in my 25 years of life, bro. You can record it and pull it out there, yeah? Because we're gonna go down to it now. How was it, bro?
Did I say is that what you said?
How I met Fahad, I met him online, yeah? I sent to Fahad DM, same thing. Oh, you're a Maliki also? Let's connect, same thing. But there's a way of saying it. Don't be like, I'm trying to gather these people and be friends with you. I thought you were cool.
Who the heck? I literally just said that. You know what I'm saying?
Can you pass me the TV?
It was it, bro.
All I'm thinking is, some people are going to be watching this and thinking, bro, so Mohammed is active in the DMs and he never replies to me.
I'm saying
exceptionally good.
I'm saying MM used to message me just on a normal thing. He didn't say, hey, you're a cool guy, let me come be your friend.
Nah, let's keep this.
Keep it.
That was best swearing.
Yeah.
Blur it out, man.
Nah, start that again. Start that again.
See, this is the thing, you don't want to
keep it. Hey,
okay, cool. Keep it real then. Cool, let's go for everyone real then. I thought Khalid was an overrated artist. Let's go. Overrated. Let's fuck up, innit? Like, cool.
Tell us how you really feel. Let's say again, that's interesting though.
No.
MM thought I was an overrated artist and stuck up.
No.
Well, that's what you actually thought.
No, what I really thought.
No, you know what it was? Because I know I was overrated. Because the reason I was rated because I was in a scene where the bar was not very high. So I didn't mean to.
He thought you was the best out of that. Like
you probably still are.
What?
The best in that
Yeah,
scene.
but I'm trying to. The point I'm trying to say was I probably.
Guys, go back how I met MM. He was the one that took it personal.
It's because I started off wrong.
Yeah, you started.
I actually couldn't remember.
Me that energy when
So I
it's his
was like,
fault. So I want an apology.
I actually couldn't remember what it was, but that's why I changed it. So exhibit.
Those will be good promo clips. Those will be good promo
We have to
clips.
keep the whole thing.
Yeah, just mute certain parts.
You was
No, but what were you saying? Going.
I was saying MM was messaging me. This is way before, and I remember I used to like his pictures on because I thought it was a photographer.
So it was a back and forth relationship.
No, not at first because I remember this was way before, and this was like way before
thought he was a photographer?
This was before you knew I was his brother. Was it?
Why not coming for Umi?
Because I'm not saying it like he's like
Come for Umi now.
No, because
what do you think of him?
He knows he messaged me.
What's that pulling out the tea?
Pull out the tea!
I still want to be friends with everyone while I leave this table.
All I'm saying was I didn't trust MM because I didn't know why he was being nice for first.
What was your first impression of me?
Can you
Wait, let him finish. Let him finish.
And I said I remember he was like coming across really nice.
Honesty is
And
best policy.
for me,
Honest tea.
when people are being nice, I'm like this. What do you want? And that's what my thing with him was for. Then I remember he defended you a few times, and this was a time where I was like really mad. And as soon as he defended you, I was cool with it. I was willing to. Then we spoke on DM and blah blah. Then we met up when I was going through my crisis, and then blah blah. That's how I met Briggs at FaceTime, and that's how it all popped up. You knew I knew him because then we met in Alum Rock. Was it Alum Rock?
We met in Coventry Road.
Coventry Road when me and him got tea, and then you came to pick me up, and then we all chatted, and then we all became friends.
No.
Your side's done.
That's how we met.
It wasn't. Let's not like. If we want to keep it honest, that wasn't like. That's very true, but there's some
Maybe I'm missing people out.
So what happened is
Include them.
he comes down to Coventry Road and he's being very standoffish and quiet. And I thought to myself,
Because
I thought, rah,
I don't like Muslims.
cool, that's fine. I thought to myself, rah. I mean, never did know a guy for 70k followers only is trying to be so like, it's trying to be so.
I wasn't even 70. I was probably on like.
I know blue tick, yeah. I didn't know someone with no blue tick can be so standoffish, but cool.
Wow.
I mean, I don't mind that, innit? At the end, let me be completely honest.
No, don't be. Keep
Well,
there's jokes.
no, but the joke is serious now, yeah?
No, don't get serious now. Keep it with him.
No.
What do you think of him?
No.
I'm getting
there. I'm talking about the events, yeah? Then we come down to the Ark, yeah? And again, Carly was very standoffish and very quiet and very like...
The Ark was the same day.
Yeah. Why is this guy wearing a poncho?
Ramadan. The poncho.
Wow.
I actually didn't feel that standoffish thing, you know. I just thought
From
that.
me.
Yeah, and I just thought that, you know.
I think because you're standoffish as well.
You think so?
100%.
Yeah, no, I remember because I met you and he was there. Your poncho actually helped you out though, cause I was like this. I was like, ooh, stylish Muslim, like. You know what I mean?
I did kind of think that, but I was still a bit like.
Yeah.
It was like half and half.
But you both standoffish.
Anyway, so you went to the Ark.
You think so? I never thought that.
I mean,
100%.
you can understand me.
100%. I feel the thing becomes, I feel like people don't get the encounters of someone who I'm genuinely an active, bubbly person, an active person who goes and talks to people online.
Exactly.
And generally people don't get that.
And in real life.
And in real life, like I'll be everyone in real life, talk to everyone and just chat to everyone and actually genuinely. I think.
And that's the thing, and people
How
think
did
like
you
this.
feel
Or what
about Umi?
Umi was cool.
Thank you.
Except.
Boom.
Except.
Oh, God, okay.
Except. So you were like maybe like 17, 18k followers this time, and I asked you to get involved in the Momo challenge. Yeah, and you go to me, make sure you put as caption, oh, I've even got celebrities involved in my challenge. Celebrities? Okay.
Do you know what? Because
Make sure you. What was it?
Make sure you get celebrities.
Make sure you tag celebrities.
Make sure you have celebrities involved in my challenge.
Because. And the thing is, I did not word it like that. I did not word it like that.
Give me that tea back.
Because them times he was a basketballer, innit? Remember that?
No, I remember exactly. Because you know why? You had a scar here and a cap face in the front, and you also a cap and a scar, and you're like, and I pull it. I was like, you know what? He said pull it. I pull it on. It was like, I've even got celebrities involved in this one.
I
even remember that.
I remember something chauvinistic like that, but I don't remember wording it like that.
But
all I remember was he asked me to join the challenge, and again, this fed into that thing of like this.
He's trying to use you.
You're trying to use like just to do the. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was like this. You know what? Let me at least get like clout off it with girls or whatever. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And obviously, but again, I didn't. worded like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I admit, I confess. But when I first met Briggs, I'm joking.
So you didn't like Briggs either when you first met him?
It's not didn't like.
It's just you like God was up.
I didn't have time for him.
Your God was up. Your God was up. He was an insecure woman.
Yeah, anyway, so I didn't have time for Briggs. I didn't have time for Emma because I just thought you're all the same. You kind of want to get close.
Were you healing?
I was still hurt. I wasn't even healing then. I was like,
What actually happened?
I just don't care about the
Why
Muslim.
did you think?
Why
people
were
wanna
you
get-
hurting, Khalid? What had happened to you?
Well, I was in a very unique situation, and one day, hopefully, you don't get to experience it. But when a community that you've been trying to help out and you had nothing but good intention for, flip the switch and it's like, oh no, you're not part of us anymore. Kind of feeling like you're excommunicated and videos are coming by you. And It's like
What kind of videos, Khalid?
No.
Well, they were, we know what they were. And it's like this community can really just go F yourself. That's like how I felt, It's like all and that everyone that started to reach out to me after that, it was just I couldn't even have a normal conversation with someone before they brought up the thing of oh yo, what do you think about this and da. And it's like
that's what I'm saying, having loads of those conversations and already interaction. And it's like so when MM and these genuine people did come, you just put them in the
just
pie.
okay,
do you know what I mean?
whatever, because where I just needed just a friend that's I get what you're going through. But even then, to say I get what you're going through, it was a unique situation for me to be in, a religious role model or whatever, and then everyone kind of turning. So that's why my intent in stuck upness.
So what was the point that changed it for you? And you realized, okay, these guys are okay.
I don't know. I don't think
I remember mine with MM's fact.
Because if that's the way you felt initially, I think that there always must have been a part where you thought, okay, they're still cool and I want to get to know more. Otherwise, you wouldn't have met up
I
again.
think it was a slow and gradual process. Like with MM, just the way you used to talk about Islam. And first of all, I'll be honest, I was just I don't recognize what this religion is that you're talking about. And it's but it was intriguing though, because you made a lot of points and it was conflicting with I use logic and reason, but then there's also my emotional kind of connection to it. So I was like, okay, he's making a lot of sense, but he's talking about an Islam that I don't recognize and I don't know. But I think it was that kept bringing me back. I was like, no, but he's really clever though, and he really knows what he's talking about. This is a point where I thought I was asking. I feel like it's all about me now, but I was asking questions to people, to scholars, and that they didn't have the answer. There was just dead answers. Same with you as well, because obviously I met you at the same time. You had some crazy.
So what was your first impression of Fahad? What was your first impression of Fahad then?
Fahad, well, it kind of went synonymous because you two were kind of friends. So I was like, he's just the cool Asian kind of dresses a bit different. The dress. Funny enough, when I think back to it, you know how impactful that poncho was. People think dresses not. It was just because it was something that
It's not your
I
normal.
I'd only assign that to a hipster or someone who actually cared about fashion or wasn't trying to be. Because we were there talking about Islam, I was like, so why is he dressed like he's actually connected to the real world?
Because practicing Muslims only wear polyester clothes.
Yeah, so that's what I thought. And then with Briggs,
Image is everything, man.
Yeah, no, it is. It's very important,
So
and I realised that by becoming friends. And like I said, I don't think there was ever one point. It was more of a slow, gradual process. And I was like, these guys are lit, man. It's but then I connected it to the time when I was praying. I was like, Ya Allah, send me some friends that are good people, that are just normal people. Because I need those friends around me right now. Because the people that I was surrounded with were just. And I was like, you know what, Allah, I don't know what convention I need to go to, what event, just bring them to me. And alhamdulillah, you're all here, so alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen, So that was that. Mohib, what did you think of Briggs?
I think my first impression of Briggs was an interesting one, but my first impression of Mamadou was that I didn't expect him to be so chilled out and fun. I expected him to be way serious,
Did you know who he was before Morocco?
Yeah. I knew who he was.
Yes, man.
Did you only meet in Morocco?
I only met him physically in Morocco. The reason why I wanted to speak to
Physically,
him...
spiritually somewhere else.
Yeah, I was very much connected to him because I had a few
Facebook.
issues that I was going through, and then at the time the Muslim community was just failing me, giving me the same old answer, not really taking a look at the deeper level of it. So I thought, let me get in touch with Momo, and really good things about him. I would say, let's meet up, and he would always be like, yeah, let's meet. And things just never got to, we never aligned. But when I first met him in Morocco, I was at a very, very interesting point in my life as well. I was actually the serious one. I was very serious. He was just dressed up very, very smart, very serious, and I used to hold myself in a specific way. And I had that standoffish sort of thing. But when I met Mamadou, it was just I didn't expect him to be so fun and so chilled out and so infectious with his joy.
Because your awe of Momo interpreted as like judging. Because remember, like,
I remember
together. But you were just like, obviously, you were just like, what the
man.
hell? Like, but you think,
Did you think that?
Yeah, I said to these guys, like, I think he's a bit.
Yeah, I think he's judging.
way.
But I was actually just fascinated at his expression, and how free he was, and because I lost that in myself, because like I was what Momo was with my friends, was super chilled out, and then I went through this period of time where I was like super strict and super serious, and I felt like, you know, you have to be that way. My initial impression of you was that, you know, like Mustafa's super special, because I had met Mustafa at the same time that I met you, and we had just I went
the
to
retreat?
No, it was at Papa Maki's house.
That house when Papa Maki was.
Yeah, because it was with Isak as well.
Yeah, it was with Isak, and straight away he invites me to this trip.
Yeah.
No. Remember the first time we had that?
Was that the first time I met?
Oh, the
Everyone was
first
crying.
time. No, yeah.
In the bag shop.
Yeah. But the first time that I met Mustafa, he invites me to the trip to Morocco, like straight away, and I was like, wow, this brother's really open and super chilled out. And I really looked at you guys as sort of like the answer to I had the same prayers, Khalid, man, the exact same prayer. It's like I need a lit group of people who can help me on my journey, and I didn't have a very negative impression of anyone automatically. My impression of you, though, however, wasn't a negative one. It wasn't a negative one. It was more reflective. It was that when I first met you, we both came together to do something for a youth group. Do you remember? Ages ago, you know, Open Circle.
Was you
time
there?
ago. That was me. I was running the youth thing there.
Sheikh Sajjad.
Yeah.
Was you in the classroom when I went with the kids?
Yeah, I was sort of running that section.
He was the guy that kept asking for a selfie.
It was good that I wasn't that guy, because I think he was worried that I was gonna be that guy. And I was super friendly with him.
Even this day, I didn't even know that was you. But obviously, I know that person. I was like, that was what? Wow.
And then I always supported him. Not necessarily.
Which version of Mohib was it though? Was it the one with the yellow hair? Was the one with the goatee?
It was
Bold one.
It was a serious
You
one.
know what? That's actually crazy. I'm actually putting it together now. Yeah, he was just cool and chill, and I thought like, as a nice guy, he's probably wanted. Like I say, negative view of like Muslims. I was like, probably deep down, he's probably judging me. He has his own opinions about me.
I felt like you were worried about me wanting something from you, like because
that as well.
Oh, brother, you want to join me in my business proposition, my business deal, and like I'm sure you must get tons of that.
ACN dons.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
So we're selling this new product.
What was your first impression of me? Let's go through that.
For me, I was just like, so I met you so I knew about, so you have a friend Ishaq, that's his friend too. He stayed with him in Egypt. Mm-hmm. So he told me about Ishaq. So when I was in Birmingham, he was like, yeah, Ishaq, link up, da-da-da. And then like my sheikh from Senegal was in town. So I think Ishaq went to come and visit him, something like that, and you were there. So then I met you, but like at the time, let me just be honest. You was going for a rough patch, innit? So you look mad rough. And you came through and you just look rough and no haircut
really skinny and stuff.
And your face was just dark and this and that. But you seemed cool, like you had like a nice heart and warm energy, genuine energy. You just looked like life had just beat you up at that stage. And then you was talking about computers a lot and games. You had one computer that you was building or something.
We was talking about the games.
Yeah, and I have no idea about technology or like computers or like any of that stuff. So I was just like, oh, like he's a computer geek, innit? Like, and then you was talking about some other stuff that I don't know if we should say on camera for risk of like, I don't know. And I was just like, oh, you're one of those kind of people, like...
It's probably polygamy.
No, it wasn't even that. It was like ayahuasca and DMT.
Oh,
and
man.
You were talking about all that stuff. I was like, okay, you're a bit out there, innit? Like, okay, you're one of those, but okay, whatever.
What was your first impression, Emma?
Of you in real life or in
Real life. Do online and real life.
online? I just felt like you just pop into my life every once a year. And be like, Salaam alaikum, I want to meet this person. Like, I want to sit down. I'll arrange it for you, of course. Then I'll never hear from you until like a year later. Salaam alaikum, I still want to meet this person. Like, okay, I'll arrange it again. Then never hear from you. Then I was like, okay, cool. Then I met you in person, I think in Morocco. And again, the same thing, I think you were really, probably I'd say intense. But definitely I thought like, this guy judging me a little bit. But you know, I go for that split second that he's judging me, but I don't care. So I just carry on.
So I think it's good that like we're kind of all like those kind of cheesy but lit individuals, And but like obviously we've kind of lived a life, then we're still living a life that's kind of led us to where we are now. What are some of the pivotal moments in our lives that looking back at it now in hindsight, that it was that kind of moment? And it could be a few, but like maybe one or two that really like it was when this happened, like it really changed me. So I'm gonna shoot over to you, Umi. Like what's a point in your life where it just like it was going this way and it just went and then you just kind of went that way? Positive or negative?
I don't know. Maybe this is why I have such a strong connection with and Mustafa. Not like a connection, like just a connection, like just like how much like I just do anything for them, etc. Because obviously,
Get the tissues, lad.
It's gonna get emotional there.
Three. No, but obviously there was the. So obviously, like I said, when he messaged me on Facebook and stuff, and when we were speaking, obviously I got kicked out of college when I was like 17, and then I got a scholarship to a college in Preston. When I was up there, I was doing some things that I shouldn't be doing. Then I had all these things in life and etc. that everyone chases for, like women, like basketball career was going really well, like basketball scholarships, money. I had a lot of money, and I remember it said nothing was like filling me. So then I went into like a very depressive stage. I've completely like left Islam. If you know. Like I weren't praying. Obviously, I'd still like say Salaam Alaikum when Clean called me or something. But it was like that's as much as it went. And then there was that. So then it went to depression. Then that got really worse. Then it went to when I tried to like the attempted suicide. Then obviously I came back to Leicester, and then I remember like that because did we meet in Ramadan?
Yeah, it was Ramadan.
Jerk beef, man.
Yeah, and maybe that's why I have such a like strong spiritual connection with that dish.
I was in Nigeria. Ramadan.
Because he was in Nigeria.
Yeah,
because and then what happened?
A few of you had come, and we used to chill here. I remember.
Yeah. So obviously, at this point in my life, I'm like, life, everything that it has to offer. I was like this. Well, nothing in this life is fulfilling me. So I was like, so now what? Because the Islam I was given, like all of us, it weren't the thing. So I remember, I slept round your house.
Yeah.
So I don't know how that happened, but we kept meeting up. And then the thing is, I kept coming back quite a bit, like for Mikael, I met. Then obviously, so me and him became really cool. And then I slept round his. There was just one night, I remember we stayed up till about
8, 9.
Maybe about 9 in the morning. Like, it must have started like before midnight, and we was just talking. He was telling me about his like stuff that happened in Norwich. Everything was just like, and that's the thing. It was the first time, especially
first time meeting.
No, like a few times. But it's either way, like I'm a very like I don't give off all this stuff. I gave everything. Like I was just like, I was tired. I didn't want to like put up a front anymore. I was like, fam, this is what it is. Do you know what I mean? And again, like I don't regret it at all because even though you had your negative things about sheikhs and stuff like that at the time, like you still was like, who could help you out? Mustafa. Bear in mind, this is when I already heard like Amir Solomon with the Salatul Fati.
Yeah.
And then I think it was that same night or the next day. I slept out for like a weekend.
Yeah.
And then we FaceTime Briggs. Briggs was in Nigeria at the time. Briggs then gave me Salatul Fati that first time. Yeah. And then
the first time you spoke to me.
First time you spoke to me, he gave me Salatul Fati. Oh yeah, FaceTime.
To get Salatul Fati.
To give a particular salawat that you want
to give a particular salawat that is the key to the universe. So he gave me that, and he was just like, "Oh, just do this, and we'll just see like how your life goes." And like for me, like that is like completely changed my life. Like I swear by that.
So essentially, it was who like God kind of brought into your life through Eminem Mustafa. That was so pivotal in your kind of change. And it's interesting, like some people can have like big changing moments by themselves, which was like my one was one by myself. But it can also happen through meeting people. And obviously like kind of with that conversation there, which led to you meeting Mustafa Bridge, which led to this and this, and then which led to me,
Senegal,
which led to me meeting them. So it's like interesting the way that God can kind of manifest.
Which ties into where I met Mohib and liked Mohib straight away. Because even when I first met Briggs, like how much I loved him straight away, just ran up, hugged him. The first time I ever met him, the first thing I did was just run up and hug him. And it was like, but then when Mohib met Papa Maki, and I remember how much I loved Papa Maki. Like, it wasn't my sheikh or anything at the time. Like, I just loved this man. And the way you respected him so much, and you was so humble, I was like, fam, you're cool. Do you know what I mean? And everyone that treats the sheikhs like that and has that type of, I was like, it's like I already know, like I already have that. Alhamdulillah, Allah's blessed me to be able to see through real and fake, and everyone on this table real.
What's some moments in your life, or a moment in your life that kind of changed your direction, your course of you going down one way and boom, you kind of this happened? And
I think there's There's so many, man.
Really? A lot of changes.
There's a lot, 100%, man. I mean, if you look back and I look at 12-year-old me, 13-year-old me, this is like a kid who wants to be a rapper. Been arrested twice, got into lots of drama. Then my best friend's killed. Then my mum moves me to Birmingham at 13, start a new life. I come to Birmingham, again, not practicing. And then about 2 things have happened. A couple of things happened. The election of Barack Obama to presidency was 2008, but his campaign started like 2006. I got interested in politics. I joined youth parliament. Through that, I learned about Malcolm X. So I think probably one of the biggest things.
Is there a video of you in youth parliament?
You know, I'm not sure.
I don't think I've seen
I don't think there is. I don't think there is.
Also, Instagram video.
I think you need to remind people about that. Yeah, like that's
Sorry, because I was still holding that thing that he did.
I'm still waiting to get back. So you got into politics.
Did you know?
Early on, I didn't know. I found out now. You got into politics.
I spoke in Parliament.
No way.
Yes, swear down.
How old was
If
you?
only it was recorded, man.
I posted on social media.
So you got interested in Malcolm X. Did that make you kind of take a re-interest into Islam?
Yeah, definitely. And then obviously Salafi movement came along. Then obviously meeting, just to keep it honest, I don't really care anymore at this stage, meeting Mufti Abu Laif.
Yeah.
And it's funny because meeting Mufti Abu Laif was such the pivotal thing in my life, taking me from Salafism,
Yeah.
but also the events that led up to that. So I met Mufti Abu Laif in Norwich. Then I part of
You met him in Norwich?
I met him at an event in Norwich.
Oh, man.
I become his student in Birmingham. What's also interesting about that is that I met him also. That's why I met Briggs.
Yeah.
So I went to Norwich to Mufti Abu Laif talk with someone else, and Briggs was there. And that's how I met Briggs.
You met him there?
I met Briggs.
You met him at a Mufti Abu Laif thing?
Yeah, in Norwich.
In Norwich.
What were you doing there?
He heard about.
I went with so it was Christmas Day, innit?
Yeah.
So the Norwich community, they do like a dhikr on Christmas Day. So
Yeah.
this is even how it happened. So basically, if you know, you know. I don't know if so basically I took Shahada at 13. So most people assume I was born Muslim because I'm Gambian and Nigerian, but my dad is actually Efik and Igbo. He's not Muslim. Like, there's no Muslims on that side of the family. My mum's side, they're Creole, so they're descended from like freed slaves from America, Jamaica, who went back. So they're not Muslim either. They're all Christian. Some of them are Muslim. Like my grandma's grandma was Muslim, and my mum has Muslim cousins, and I have like an uncle that converted. And Gambia, like, it's intermarriage between Muslims and Christians is frequent. So I grew up exposed to Islam. But I decided to become Muslim at 13. So in becoming Muslim, and I was like proper on it, I was reading the books, I was going to visit Shuyukh, and I became Muslim through a sheikh in Senegal called Sheikh Hassan Cisse. He was the one that made dua for me to become Muslim. He's connected me to his younger brother, Sheikh Mahi. I took Shahada with Sheikh Mahi. Then I took like the spiritual path from Sheikh Hassan, then he passed away. So I was there like as a 13-year-old, doing everything 13-year-olds was doing, but I was also going to like...
Do you reckon when Sheikh Hassan passed away, that was like because I remember me and you spoke about that. That was like you said that was a big part.
That was a big part of my life because he was a sheikh that influenced my life so much, and we never physically met. We just used to speak on the phone, and we just used to email each other. And then through him, I became Muslim. I took Shahada. I went on the spiritual path. I started traveling to Senegal to meet Shuyukh and stuff. But it's like the first time I went to Gambia, like I remember I went to Gambia as a Muslim, but I didn't go to Senegal to see him. Then I came back, and then he passed away. And then it's like, so that's why I have this thing of anytime there's a sheikh around or anytime there's someone I can get benefit from, I always rush to spend as much time as I can with them because I have that trauma of there could have been a time when I could have spent time with Sheikh Hassan and I didn't. So when I meet his uncle, Sheikh Maki, Papa Maki, I spend time with him. When I meet his brothers, I spend time with them.
And how much Papa Maki like came into your life after Sheikh Hassan as well?
Yeah, that's like a
the
whole
catalyst
other
of that,
story.
do you know what I mean?
So it's like, so I'm young and I'm like young, black, practicing as in I prayed and I did zikr every week and I was going to visit sheikhs, but I was still going shubs, I was still on the block, like I was still chilling with my brethren, I was a rapper at the time, like I was doing all that kind of stuff as well and going to school. But then one day, it was literally December and I was at my friend's house and they were all getting ready to go to Norwich. And then the one guy was like to me, oh, have you heard of this? Have you seen this boy on Facebook, Mamadou Tal? And I was like, nah, who's that? And they're like, oh, he's a young Gambian. He's Gambian like you. And, you know, but he's into the deen. And to see young Gambians like 13, 14 that's into Islam like that.
Yeah, because you must have been like,
it's rare, yeah.
Young, like,
I was like 15, 16 at the time, innit? But like, so So I was like, right, like, okay. So I added him on Facebook. In first question, are you Maliki? I'm like, yeah, I'm Maliki. And then we started talking, whatever. And then he was like, yeah, I'm gonna be at this Zikr, da 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 da. No, he didn't even tell me he was gonna be there. But I knew he's part of that Norwich community. So I'm like, I'm gonna go there and pull up on him and surprise him. So I went there. And I start talking, and then we meet for the first time. We start talking, whatever.
I didn't know how broke I was that day, and you gave me hadia.
Yeah, and
I was so broke that day. Like, bro, like, I didn't think I knew how to. I didn't think I had a train ticket to come back to Birmingham.
Yeah.
And he goes to me, make dua for me, and he gave me like 20, 30 pounds.
Yeah, so we have this concept in Africa, like shuyukh or descendants of shuyukh or awliya, like men of God. We give them gifts. We call it hadia. And usually it's just money. Like you give. So if you see like a sheikh, to benefit them or to help them in their cause, you give them hadia, whatever. So because his great grandfather Sheikh Omar Fouti, and that's the sheikh of like all my sheikhs. So when he was telling me he's descended from Sheikh Omar Fouti, then I was like, okay, I got some tutu baggy, I'm gonna give it to him, as a gift today. So then when I was leaving, I gave it to him, and before we left,
did you not find it as a weird concept? This guy, random guy, just giving you money,
especially someone around your age.
He's Gambian, isn't it? He's seen it before.
Nah, but you know like
in the UK, a kid your own age, and he just randomly giving you money.
No, so what happened?
I would find that so weird.
So what happened was, so imagine this. I remember exactly. I remember like scene for scene. He goes to me, make dua for me, yeah. And I kind of thought he was like just joking. So he goes, Tia, take this. I cut the money. I put it in my pocket. I kind of like said, thank you so much. And he goes, where's my dua then? I was like, oh, to be serious, yeah. I made dua and stuff, and then he's like, and after we just exchanged details.
And then we started talking, and then we realized that we're related because his great grandpa was my great-grandma's, was my grandma's boss. They traveled the world together. He was the president, she was his secretary. And then he married my grandma's cousin. So it's like he has cousins that are my cousins. And do you know what I mean? So it was like whatever. And then that's how the friendship kind of started. And then it just continued from there. That was like, what, 2011?
Yeah, 11.
Yeah, 2011, Christmas 2011.
That's pretty special, man.
That was how. And then we had, obviously, Malcolm X was, I think Norwich was a pivotal point for me. I feel like then also and Mufti Abu Layth, because that opened doors to Norwich. Through that, I contacted Fahad on Facebook. So Fahad was posting like pictures of like famous Maliki sheikhs.
Was he?
Yeah.
Okay, you getting down like that?
When this is like 2000.
Were you deep? You post Sheikh Hamza? Did you post Sheikh Hamza?
Nah, man, because I hadn't moved to. I don't think I had. Had I moved to Norwich before that? Before we met?
No.
Been about 8 years exactly. So I was 2012, just before I was about to move to Norwich. 2012. I say it proudly now, I slid into Fahad's DMs.
You know what? Let me just
Why?
let me clarify why he's saying this, because for the longest time, Mohammed was like, nah, Fahad came slid into my DMs and was begging it off me. He was messaging me, and I was like, that's not. So one day we had to scroll all the way back.
8 years.
8 years for you messenger, yeah. I found out Mohammed goes, oh, you Maliki, yeah?
That's how it always starts.
That's his chat blind.
Maliki, yeah.
And I was like, yeah, it's been a week.
That's how he's gonna find his wife.
Well, why were you posting, what you say, Maliki scholars?
Sheikh Hamza Yusuf and stuff.
Oh, why were you posting them? How did you get introduced to them?
So
Pictures of them, innit?
yeah.
How did you get introduced to those?
So initially I was part of the whole Salafi thing when I'd left school, and then when I came off that, like I was looking
say sorry.
Yeah, to have to go through that.
I was like,
Thank you.
good point.
Yeah.
So yeah, after that, then I was looking into like, okay, now I have to follow a madhab, and the reason why I didn't want to follow the Hanafi madhab is because I didn't want to get involved in the whole Barelvi Deobandi politics, and if I study the Hanafi madhab in Birmingham, I'm gonna have to get involved in that politics, which I didn't want anything to do with. So then I just started watching stuff on YouTube about the initially. I was looking at the Hanbali madhab and then the Maliki one.
Not Shafi.
No, you know, I don't know why though, but I just never looked into it.
Okay. Yeah.
And
maybe if you read like the biography of Imam Shafi or like
possibly.
You was taken toward the Maliki way.
Yeah, because of Sheikh Hamza Yusuf and Omar Farooq Abdullah, because they've got a video on introduction to Maliki madhab.
That's quite a popular video, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I was watching that. So then I started like getting into proper like fanboying Sheikh Hamza Yusuf. So I would post loads of his videos, and then I changed my profile picture on Facebook to him. Like leading a dance, and then I started.
So I remember when I met him in Toronto. I'm joking. I'm just trying to
Oh no, I'm past that.
You met him?
I haven't, you know.
Oh, okay.
Inshallah.
In Toronto.
Yeah.
I got to speak to him on the phone in Philly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but my friends work in Parliament, so.
I got a blue tick. Carry on.
I'm sorry.
Wow.
pipe up.
Wow. Listen, keep it nice, okay? You was posting pictures of Sheikh Hamza Yusuf, yeah? Mashallah. And then where did it go from there?
What was I saying?
And then you was posting pictures of Sheikh.
Oh, so then
you
I
changed your
started.
DP
I found
to-
out about like.
I'll actually have a mixtape coming out.
There's a little bit.
I'll actually release music.
No, I'm turning up to the podcast at 2 p.m.
Oh! Oh! Wow, anyway.
Anyway, do you need Imodium?
Listen, yeah. Was this before or after you went to Turkey? Anyway. Back to...
Guys, if you want to gamble on your podcast, yeah, I need new friends, guys. I'm on it. Please book me, DM me, yeah. And insert.
I bet people are thinking...
out here.
Before Malcolm X.
Wow.
Before Malcolm X.
People are thinking, what the hell are all these references? We ain't going to talk about
Wow.
People don't need to know anyway.
We're all being very petty. Anyway, so your point was you were posting pictures of Sheikh Hamza Yusuf.
Yeah, and then I started following people.
Mamadou
I
got
realized that there were a few Malikis in Birmingham, a few teachers. So I started following them on Facebook, and then all of the people that they were connected to, and Mamadou was one of them.
So you was
So I
already
followed Mamadou.
in
I'd
a
followed-
Maliki community.
No, online.
No, online, like on Facebook. I thought, okay,
Yeah, like a Facebook
here,
community.
it was mainly just two shuyukh, Siddiq Bal and Mufti Abu Layth.
Yeah.
So I followed them, and then I saw, okay, Mufti's chilling with a few of these people, and they look cool, they're young like me, and they're interested in the deen. So then I started adding all of his friends and students, and that's how I got in touch with Mamadou, and then he reached out to me.
They just kind of went
And he liked me when I first reached out to him, actually.
Yeah, but you didn't like me though.
I know. That's irony.
I don't like
I'm not.
He liked me, so.
Said I was cool.
But then I remember, do you remember when we first spoke?
Nah.
I made the group.
Mamadou made a WhatsApp group, and I remember the exact message. She goes, "You two are true alike, so I've not met yet." So, and then we were speaking in that group for like, and even on the phone
The
for
group
so
still
long.
exists.
The group still, but for so long before we actually met.
Yeah.
So you're from Birmingham too. You guys are from Birmingham. How did you get introduced into this mix? Where did
For me, it was different.
Where was
so-
your connection?
So yeah, for me, so I grew up in a very secular, chilled out family.
Make
not
sure you
a
mention
very religious-
the turning point as well.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I grew up in a very non-religious household, right? I didn't go to mosque as a kid, as you know, a very typical Asian family would send their kids to mosque. I didn't go to mosque.
You're half Moroccan as well.
I am half Moroccan as well, so that is a case. And I just grew up around
Mashallah,
people that weren't really that religious.
That's why you look Arab.
That's why you look beautiful.
Whoa.
What's the other half, bro?
Pakistani?
Mashallah.
Actually, Kashmiri.
Oh, okay. Oh, makes sense.
Yeah. So what happened was I failed at education. I was really I used to mess around a lot at school, and things didn't go very well. Left school with GCSEs and X, Y, and Z.
Wow, serious?
And yeah, because they removed me from the classes.
That's crazy.
They removed me. They did not
You
let
never
me
think
take
so,
my
'cause
GCSEs.
you're
Was
so
you like
intelligent.
bad?
Yeah,
Naughty?
yeah. I got excluded from school. I think.
Did you leave with no GCSEs?
Nine times.
You had to go back and get them. Yeah.
Oh, I
in
thought so.
college, yeah.
I'm in
That was petty.
I had to get
Below
my
the belt.
It's okay.
Man thing.
And I'm going to be vexed like, all the way to America on my tour. I'm going to think about that. It's okay. We can't all be sexual. Carry on.
We can't be what?
Anyway, carry on. Your point was
So
unreligious household. You failed school.
They pulled me out of school. I got excluded. I think in school I got excluded like 9 times. Set classroom on fire. Through chairs. Did all these
So
things.
was you like that kid in the middle of the classroom just getting angry and like,
Yeah, I was
being
just
vexed?
mad.
Throw brick stick at people.
My best friend went to school with me. He's in the building with me now. He can testify that I was a proper just a lunatic at school. I had a lot of.
Sam was your best
issues.
friend?
And yeah, he's my best friend.
Is that why you helped in cheating maths today?
What? Let's no more shots.
If
Carry
it
on.
wasn't for me, Briggs would have died.
Okay. Anyway.
Don't let him.
In the context of the game Mafia. Anyway, moving on. Yeah. So you're doing that. Yeah.
And then everything went pear-shaped, everything went wrong. And then I just thought, you know what, I'm just going to pray. I thought, you know what, forget this. I'm just going to start praying. I'm going to start focusing on where. And then I went down the Salafi route. I did go down the Salafi route. I did not get into it so deep, but I was attending a specific place which is known as like the HQ of the Salafi ideology, and I was spending a lot of time there. And then
Why do you think you took to it?
I think you know what it was. It was just so simple. No, it was just so simple. When you're lost, right? Check this out. When you're lost and you've just got so much going on in your life, and then someone says, "Bro, all you need is the Quran and the Sunnah to reach a connection to Allah. You don't have to go through this complication of a madhab." Look, madhab is not complicated, but when you've got life going on
And you don't know any better.
you are going to take what seemingly is the easy route, and it was just so simple.
Black and white. Well, there you go.
Yeah, and everyone just seemed so peaceful.
Pamphlet Islam.
Yeah, and I remember I was at the masjid and they said that they were going to be combining a prayer with another prayer. I think they said that we were going to be combining Maghrib and Isha together, and I spoke to a friend of mine, and he started speaking to me about all these different terms and legal this and blah, blah, blah. And he goes, look, you should really take a look at your history. And then I did take a look at my history, educated myself, and then I came across a small group of people who aspired to be Sufis, the Tasawwuf and stuff like that, and started chilling out with them. But that's when I started to get really delusional. I started to think that I was special. Started to think that I was part of a special selected group of people.
Wow.
That I was right.
Is the Salafi or the Sufi part?
This was like the Sufi part.
So you're like higher now. You got more.
Yeah,
knowledge,
it was like
got a
yeah,
better
exactly.
understanding.
We
of the
speak
deen.
about higher concepts, therefore by default
These
we
all
are
know people.
Yeah. And one of the massive turning points for me, I've had tons of turning points in my life, but one of the most biggest turning points for me was when we all went to Morocco.
Oh wow.
No, I mean, to be fair,
I think that was for everyone.
Everybody's exactly that's for everyone. That's like
that was
a massive turning point. No, but that was massive for me.
Oh, what?
Okay, maybe.
That was the birth
that was a
of
big
everything
thing for us,
that is
man.
today. Do you know what I mean?
That was a massive turning point for me because I realized that not only was I boxing myself in, not only was I labeling myself, not only was I, limiting myself, is that I witnessed through each and every single one of you guys is that that I may not be living to the fullest that I can live to.
That's when you know you're around good people. When
I see
when they make you
when they
question yourself,
and it wants you to do better.
Yeah, when I see Briggs, who wants to be, who's a genuine aspirant, who wants to, move forward and study and learn and know Allah and do these things, but he's still having fun and laughing and joking. And I see Momo do it, and then I see yourself do it, but then I see creative expression from you, and then I see Fahad dressing up how he wants to dress up, expressing himself, and I see Khalid do the exact same thing, and I'm not.
Some say dressing up, but someone will say like Asian rebellion. But
Yeah.
Not today.
I didn't grow up around many creative people, Nah. We grew up around people who were scared, trauma, who were living to survive.
Let's maybe.
No. Just do your little thing. What was your turning point?
I started with it.
started
I started with it. Why? Was it that uninspiring? I forgot what I said, but I said something cool. I don't know.
I was saying words. You just want to listen.
Yeah. But the point is, I think, because what I like to hear, and it's people can be in this situation, people listening, people watching may even be in this situation now, and these are normally the most pivotal. It's normally your darkest moments, some moments where and normally, in most cases, with the situation where you feel closest to God, and you're really there with Him, because you've got no choice, you've got nowhere else to turn to, no friends are really helping you. And not to say that you don't have a support system, but it's not maybe what you think that you need at the moment. I'll start off with one of mine, where, because for me, it sounds kind of what's called arrogant, but I'm a deep thinker, but I overthink things a lot. And I used to, when I was little, when I was like 10, I used to think about the concept of, smaller than that, like 6 actually, I used to think about the concept of eternity, of the fact that, I used to think about non-existence, the fact that, what would life be like if I didn't exist? And I just sit there and I just be intense tafakkur, I guess, just intense, just reflection, imagine I just wasn't here. And then I'd really, really hone into this thing, and it get to a point where it raised me to a higher state. I used to like it, and I should do it again. And then I pushed it too far one time, and it was really I wasn't there. then I was struggling to get myself back into existence because I was thinking about like, no, just imagine you weren't here because everything would carry on. You just weren't here anymore. Then that kind of evolved as I got older into the concept of eternity. Like we exist now, yeah. It's too late for us to back out of anything.
We said, what was that?
Whatever. It's not even that fun. It's the fact that we're existing and we're experiencing life now. So even if after death there's darkness, that's still an eternity of blackness. That's still an existence of non-existence, meaning you're not here anymore forever, and you're never going to come back. So what's that like? So all those kind of questions that spirals onto, and I would just sit there and think about it. Then it would lead me to like an intense like anxiety state of like, oh my God, like it's too late now. I can't get out of it. Like even if I kill myself, I can't do it. If I carry on, what's the point of life? And then it would happen in like, sometimes it would happen when I didn't want it to happen, like in a cinema. It would normally happen in groups of large people because that's when I'd really like look at life like, oh wow, we're really just out here living and everyone's worried about their job and their family and this, but like we're existing in life and what is it all? You know what I mean? And then sometimes I do it when I was bored because of how excited it would get me inside. I do it, but then I'd say this time when it happens and I get to that thing, I'll challenge it, I'll face it, but like what? You know, whatever this thing I was approaching, every time I'd back away. When it got to that point, I'd be like, no, that's too scary. Then I'd like, Ya Allah, help me. Then there was one time, and I think it was maybe like 5 years ago now, so I can't remember how old I was, maybe like 21 or something like that.
20. When I was in Preston and...
I can't remember specifically, but I just remember being one time, always, this would kind of happen on and off throughout my life where, you know, sometimes it would happen a lot, often where these kind of states would come across and then they'd go, but there was one night where I woke up and I think it was the end of Ramadan. So I just had an amazing Ramadan. I was like, this is really cool. I was getting really spiritual. Ramadan had just ended and then I woke up in that state. So this is weird because normally I have to sit and think and meditate till I get to that state and I'm like, eternity. I woke up in that state and it essentially maybe it was something similar to like a panic attack or an extreme anxiety attack. But I wasn't just experiencing it just for the sake of it. I was experiencing it like, oh, I exist now and I can't get out of it. And it's too late now. I need to end it right now. It's like everything felt irrelevant. Family, what I do to I was like, no, I need to end it right now because I can't go on just living this pointless, meaningless life. Anyway, so for me, what I kind of understood that to be was because I made wudu straight away and just went straight into sajda, and I was just like, Ya Allah, like if you're there. Yeah. Help me. Help me, please. Because nothing is gonna get like there is nothing you can show me in life now, money, women, power, fame, that is gonna take away the knowledge of what I know now. And I used to smoke weed as well, so I used to kind of experiment with these kind of alternate realities and things like that. I don't know what I used to smoke with the weed sometimes, but sometimes it used to take me to some crazy places. Point is, I knew what I knew. And from then I had to be like, yo, this Islam that I'm giving right now, feels like that's not aware of this place that I've just gone to. I need to find some form of Islam where it incorporates the mind and the spirit and reality and Islam as well. Because if not, then this Islam thing is not for me. I need
You can't save me when I go.
You can't, because when I'm here, it's just me.
It's like oh, Allah is here, but it's like, but where's Allah when I'm there?
Yeah, when I'm here, what's the reality there? And I literally had to create my own form of Sufism because I didn't know what Sufism was. I was like, you know what? Yeah, I like the whole meditating thing and coming into yourself and just the man and all that kind of stuff. But I know that's kind of shirky or whatever. So I know what I'll do. I know that's kind of shirky, so I won't do that. I know, I'll just do that. And when they say the I'll just be like, Allah, I'll just do that, and I'll just be thinking about Allah. And I was like, nah, someone must have created this before. Islamic meditation, Sufism. Oh, what's Sufism? Then I was reading it and I watched this 10-minute film about this kind of an explanation of what it was, focusing on the self, reconnecting with God, becoming like that reality, seeing everything through the eyes of the real. And I was like, this is it. Why is no one going crazy about this? Oh my God, let me see what the sheikh's saying about this. Sufism. And then all the sheikhs that I was listening to were just like, why Sufism was bad, stay away from this, is it bid'ah, I was like, no, this was it. This was 100% it, and I thought this was it. And then it took me a while until I did like a 360 and I came back to it. But that moment there, it was literally that one night after the Ramadan about five years ago when it was like, that was like the lowest I've ever been. And funny enough, that thing what I can only call like as taqwa, was like that consciousness I was aware of has never left me since that day. it's always been with me, just in various degrees. Because before it would go off completely, and I'd go straight into complete hidders, and then it would come back maybe a month later. To that day, to this day, it's never left. It's never left. It's never left.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Thank
you for sharing, man. I love that. Yeah, thank you.
I mean, you know.
My name is Khalid Sadiq and I'm an alcoholic.
It's still a journey.
I
It's
think-
still a journey. It's still a journey.
I think you sealed it, man.
You think? Oh,
I think you sealed it, man.
That too deep?
No, I think you sealed it. I don't think no one can top that. And there's chicken in the background smelling. I'm hungry.
Man,
I just
man,
asked,
man.
can you ask the viewers today that we make dua that our channel has longevity longer than City Brothers channel?
I'm gone.
Guys, it's been
And it reaches higher heights than Momo's 5'5" ass.
it's been a great day. I'm left by myself.
I'm still with you. City Brothers, we're still here. We're still here.
Join us for the next episode. That was too much. That was too much, MM. Too much. Peace and blessings be upon you.